Before we start, I want to remind you that the iPhone 13 giveaway is still going. If you want to win the iPhone 13, all you have to do is subscribe and like, and write in comments your favorite Apple product. I will announce the winner next video. Are you ready for the next big thing in the world of smartphones? Well, Apple is gearing up to release their newest iPhone 15 lineup in the fall of 2023. There are so many rumors going around about what this new phone will bring. In the last two videos, we've covered many aspects of the phone, from design, display, performance, and much more. Today, we're going to discover some amazing features. From the new Dynamic Island, the combination of ChatGPT and Siri, the allowing of side-loading apps only in Europe, and maybe the cancelling of the new USB-C port in the iPhone 15. All this and more in this video. Subscribe and like, and let's dive in. First feature, the new Dynamic Island. According to several rumors and reports, it's expected that Apple will introduce the Dynamic Island feature to all four models of the iPhone 15, not just the Pro or Ultra series. Dynamic Island is a feature that was first introduced on the iPhone 14 Pro and always stays at the top of the phone's display. It lets you interact with things like maps, music, or a timer while using other apps on your phone. With the new iPhone 15, the Dynamic Island will be even more advanced, and third-party apps that provide information like sports scores and ride-sharing with live activities can also use the feature. So, you'll be able to stay updated on important information while still using your phone for other things. Second feature, the AI Siri. iOS 17, the new operating system for iPhones, is expected to make big improvements to some of the phone's built-in apps, like CarPlay, Messages, and of course Siri. Siri, the virtual assistant on iPhones, has already seen significant improvements in iOS 15 and iOS 16, and it's going to get even better with iOS 17. Apple engineers who work on Siri have been testing language generation concepts every week, which means that Siri is developing way too fast than we think. But Apple still did not reveal if it's going to build its own AI or rely on other software. This is because of the rise of chatbots like ChatGPT, which have inspired Apple to improve Siri's language capabilities. So, the next time you ask Siri a question, be prepared for some exciting new answers. Third feature, new camera updates. Apple is planning to make some changes to the cameras on its upcoming iPhone 15 models. One thing you might notice if you look at pictures of the iPhone 15 Ultra is that the camera bump is getting even bigger. This is because Apple is planning to use larger lenses and sensors, including a periscope lens, which will only be available on the iPhone 15 Pro and Ultra models. A periscope camera works by using a submarine structure to improve the distance between the camera lens and the camera sensor, allowing for better zoom capabilities. Currently, the Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra is considered the best phone for this feature, offering up to 10x optical zoom, while the iPhone 14 Pro Max only has a 3x zoom range. However, the upcoming iPhone 15 is expected to match the Samsung phone with its 10x zoom capability, which will make it a more competitive option for those looking for a phone with advanced camera features. Fourth feature, the side-loading apps. Apple has traditionally kept its iPhone app distribution system closed, which means users can only download apps from the App Store. However, a new law in the European Union could change that. The proposed law would allow customers to download apps from sources outside the App Store, which would mean developers wouldn't have to pay Apple's fees of 15 to 30%. However, Bloomberg journalist Mark Gurman reported that this feature will only be available in European Union countries. Apple has argued that side-loading apps could put users at risk of malware, scams, and data tracking. Gurman speculates that Apple may implement side-loading in a limited way, similar to how it responded to an antitrust case in the Netherlands. He even suggested that Apple may not announce iOS 17 side-loading at the next Worldwide Developers Conference. Fifth feature, the USB-C port. Apple has always used its own proprietary Lightning cable for charging its iPhones, while other phone makers switched to micro USB and then USB-C. However, Apple may not have a choice anymore. European rules mandate that all new phones must use a common USB-C charging port, and Apple executives have stated that they plan to comply with these rules. This marks the first time in a decade that Apple will need to use a different charger for their iPhone. The EU's rules state that all mobile phones sold in the EU must have a USB-C charging port by the end of 2024. For now, it's uncertain whether Apple will start transitioning to USB-C with the iPhone 15, which is expected to launch in 2023, or wait until 2024 to make the switch. Sixth feature, cool widgets. Widgets have been around for some time, but Apple revolutionized them with the interactive widgets introduced in iOS 14. These widgets allow users to easily access important information, like weather updates and news headlines, without opening an app. But with the upcoming release of iOS 17 on the iPhone 15, Apple is set to take interactive widgets to the next level. According to rumors, the new update will allow widgets to offer full interactions, enabling users to perform tasks directly from the widget without opening the app. This means that you could scroll through emails, mark items off a to-do list, or even compose a quick message without leaving the widget. It's an exciting new feature that promises to make using your iPhone even more convenient and efficient. Finally, the release date. It's expected that the iOS 17 update for the iPhone will be unveiled at the Worldwide Developers Conference, WWDC, in 2023. This event is where Apple typically showcases its latest software updates and technologies. Following the announcement, the iOS 17 update is likely to be available for download in the fall of 2023, probably around the middle of September. As for the iPhone 15, there's not much information yet about its release date or features. However, based on previous iPhone release patterns, we can expect the iPhone 15 to be launched in the first half of September 2023, around the same time as the iOS 17 update. Which one you prefer, the iPhone 14 or the Samsung S23? I want to know your answers down in the comment. Subscribe, like, and share the video with your friends. See you next time.